Welcome back. All right, so again, I'm recording the first board in between the second and third period of the Vancouver-Vegas game, and then I'll review, obviously, that board once that game is finished. One could argue that game was finished in the first period. That being said, we're going to start things off. We're going to talk about Washington and Buffalo first, Lindgren versus Luukkonen. Skinner's game number 1,000. This is how you have a game number 1,000 for your player. Early jump for Buffalo. Dahlin fires one wide as the Sabres press. And then at 2:46 is the Caps that score first. Fir Avenue from Scarbosa and Lapierre. Then the Caps press for another. Tuck has a breakaway that's defended. He does get a shot out of it. It's saved. But again, he's kind of bothered while he's trying to get that. There's a post for Alexiev as the Caps press. The Sabres then get some pressure at 9.5 minutes. The shots are 6-4 Buffalo with 6.5 minutes left. Olofsson has a one-timer that's kicked aside, and then at 15:42, Girgensons tips one in close. Really nice shot by Dahlin to set that up. Power with the other assist ties the game at 1. With exactly 4 minutes left, the Sabres get a power play, and at 16:50, Peterka scores on that power play. Tuck and Benson with the assists, and Peterka buries that one from a sharp angle. So after the first period, it's 2-1 Buffalo. Second period, good forechecking by the Sabres. Dahlin has a rush chance that fizzles. The teams trade turnovers. Strome has a tip shot that's held. The shots are only one apiece, 6.5 minutes in. The Caps press at 9.5 minutes. Are kept to the outside. And then it's Peterka scoring from Tuck at 10:54. His second goal of the game makes it 3-1. Caps look to respond. Krebs has a slot shot that's kicked aside. The Sabres press with 4 minutes left. With 1:09 left, there's a power play for the Capitals, and they would score on it. At 19:14, it's Strome from Karlsson and Ovechkin. That makes the score 3-2, and that's where it would stay after the second period. Third period, early power play for the Caps. That becomes 53 seconds of 4-on-4, and then when it becomes a power play for the Sabres, they score on it. It's Dahlin from Peterka and Thompson at 3:03. The Sabres look for another, and they find it. At 4:48, Thompson wires one from the inner slot. Quinn and Benson with the assist. So don't look now. Tage Thompson, after what was a really rough start to the season, he's actually been pretty good lately. And then at 5:33, so less than a minute after that, Tuck scores from Thompson and Dahlin. Sabres then press for another as the Caps have had a complete meltdown. And this is the interesting thing with the Capitals. They either play close games, and they usually win those, or they just get blown out. Just there's no in between. That's why they have a bad goal differential. Caps press at 8 minutes. The shots are 10-7 for Buffalo with 4.5 minutes left. The Caps press with 3 minutes left. With 2:02 left, the Caps get a power play. That's killed off. Your final score is 6-2. The Sabres go to 36-35-5 on the season. For the Caps, 36-28-10 with the loss. Shots on net, 13-4 Buffalo in the first, 12-8 Buffalo in the second, 13-10 Washington in the third. Final shots, 35-25 for the Sabres. Power plays, the Caps 1 for 3. Buffalo scored on both of theirs. The hits, 24-23 Washington. Lindgren, 25 saves on 31 shots. Darcy Kemper saved all 4 shots in relief. Luukkonen saves 23 out of 25. So Buffalo has faint playoff hopes. They're trying to keep them alive. All right, next up, Florida and Montreal. So who saw this one coming? You know what? I keep seeing Panther fans going, "Oh, we're panicked. We're panicked." I don't feel it. I still feel like they'll turn it around. Sure, they can turn it around. They're Florida. So it's Stolars versus Montembeault. There's an early press by the Panthers. We then get a power play for Florida. That's killed off. Pretty good kill by the Montreal Canadiens. They only allow one shot. Panthers press at 4.5 minutes. Mikkola has a wrister. That's held. The shots are 4-2 for Florida at 6 minutes. And then Lindell buries one on a net drive at 9:15 to make it 1-0 for Florida. Habs press for response, and they get it at 10-12. Armia buries a rebound. Pizzetta and Newhook with the assist. The Habs then look for the lead. But Montembeault had no chance on this. Barkov scores from Tarasenko at 13-13. It's 2-1 Florida. Panthers press for another. With 2:12 left, the Habs get a power play. That becomes 58 seconds of 5-on-3. So that rolls over into the third period where the Panthers finish the kill, and they're up by 1. Habs press after it's done. The Habs scored. Or did they? No. So the referee comes, yeah, we looked at it. The puck was in the net, and then comes back, turns the mic on. I was like, well, no, actually what I meant to say was, on further clarification, the puck never crossed the line. So the fans went from, yay, we got a goal, to, oh, no, we didn't get it. I don't know that I've ever seen that. I don't know that I've ever seen a referee come out to center ice and go, yeah, so it's a goal. And then, did I say goal? I meant it wasn't a goal. Gotcha. April Fools was yesterday, refs. Shots are 5-2 for the Habs at 4.5 minutes. At 5:58, Suzuki buries a turnover in the slot. You've got to watch for Suzuki. He's up to what, 70 points on the season? Yeah, he's doing really well. The Habs press at 7.5 minutes. The shots are 9-3 Montreal at 9.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Habs, and they score on it at 12:22. It's Suzuki with the second goal of the game. Matheson and Newhook with the assist, and he deflected the point shot by Matheson into the net. So all of a sudden, Montreal is a 3-2 lead. We get a power play for the Panthers. There's a shorthanded rush by White. That gets saved. That power play is killed off. It's 3-2 Montreal after 2. Third period. This is where it was announced, too, that Ekblad wouldn't return. He got hurt earlier in the game. And 32 seconds in, Caulfield scores from Slavkovsky and Gouli. So suddenly Montreal has a 2-goal lead. The Habs press at 2 minutes. We get a power play for the Panthers. That leads to a shorthanded goal. Jake Evans gets the second career shorthanded goal at 4:34. Then we end up with 43 seconds of 4-on-4. Barkov nearly scores during the 4-on-4 play. Everything gets killed off. The Panthers get another power play. Montreal kills that one off as well. We get a power play for Montreal. That becomes 1:25 of 5-on-3, and it became another 5-on-3. There were like 4 Panthers in the box, meaning there wasn't enough room for all of them to sit down. So that happened. There's a shorthanded rush by Lusterinen that's saved. They do kill off all those penalties. Bennett would then score at 18:44 from Kulikov and Lundell. The Panthers then get a power play to close it out. Closest they get. 5-3 is your final. Montreal goes to 29, 33, and 12. They want to be NHL 500. For Florida, they're 47, 24, and 5 on the season. The shots on net, 14-12 Montreal in the first, 13-7 Montreal in the second, 21-12 Florida in the third. Final shots are 40-39 for the Panthers. Power plays 0 for 5 for Florida, 1 for 7 for Montreal. Hits 20-15 for Montreal. Stolarz saved 34-39. Montembeault saves 37 out of 40, and I believe they said his first career win over the Florida Panthers. So kudos to him for that. All right, next up, Pittsburgh and New Jersey. Now I know Pittsburgh's still technically in the race, but if you look, nobody. They have games in hand on nobody, and their schedule is not easy from here. They don't really have a game you can look at and go, well, this is easy. Now, the Devils, on the other hand, well, the Devils are known for meltdowns, so here we are. So it's Nedeljkovic versus Allen, the early edges for the Devils. Lazar has a rush chance, that's blocked. Marino had a point shot that's blocked. It's all New Jersey at this point, though. Not a lot of shots. The shots are only 2-1 in favor of the Devils, 5 minutes in. Siegenthaler's tonight on the rebound, and then at 7:54, Erik Karlsson gets his first goal in over a month, so he gets that to make it 1-0 Pittsburgh. Carter has a rush chance, that's saved. The Penguins press with 8.5 minutes left. Devils press with 5 minutes left. They end up getting a power play, and Meyer deflects one in to tie the game. Luke Hughes and Hischier with the assists at 19:43. So it's a 1-1 tie after one. Second period. Good early back and forth. Meyer fires one high on a net drive. Hischier has a chance. That's held. The shots are 2-1 Devils at 6 minutes. So again, there are chances. Not a lot hitting the net. We get a power play for the Devils at 9:42. This is after the power play ends. Lazar roofs one from the slot. Nosek and Marino with the assists on that. So New Jersey has a 2-1 lead. We then get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. The Devils go to the power play shortly after that. That's killed off as well, as we're into the power play portion of the program. Penguins press with 5 minutes left, but at 17:47, Bratt wires one on a fast break. He gets that from Hischier and Marino. It's 3-1 New Jersey. Bratt then couldn't hit the buzzer beater, but again, 3-1 New Jersey after 2. All right, all you got to do is play a good 20 minutes. That's been a conversation with New Jersey this year, hasn't it? So third period, Hischier has a rush shot that deflects wide. Jack Hughes has a chance to blocker to side. We get a power play for Pittsburgh. That's killed off. Shots are 2 apiece, 6 minutes in. Good forechecking by the Devils. But on a power play, the Penguins would start to turn the tide. Crosby on a tic-tac-toe play scores from Malkin and Rust at 6:48. And then at 7:55, Malkin scores from St. Ivany and Bunting. For St. Ivany, his first career NHL point. I know, because I haven't written that name on the board before. Penguins then look for the lead. We get a power play for the Devils. That's killed off. At 16:16, Raquel puts Pittsburgh in the lead from Pettersson. So turnovers are hurting the Devils. And then at 16:37, puck just deflects in to make it 5-3. It's a complete meltdown. Malkin from Bunting and Letang. And then they pull the goalie, and at 17:07, Crosby hits the empty net. Pittsburgh wins 6-3. They go to 34-30 and 11. New Jersey 36-35 and 4. They had a lead, and then they didn't. Shots on net, 10-4 New Jersey in the first, 11-8 New Jersey in the second, 9-5 Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots, 26-21 New Jersey. Power plays, 1 for 3 for Pittsburgh, 1 for 4 for New Jersey. The hits, 16-12 for the Penguins. Nedeljkovic, 23 saves on 26 shots. Allen has an ugly stat line out of this. 15 saves on 20 shots for Jake Allen. All right, and last up from this board anyways, and then I'll watch the third period of whatever that is I've been watching. Chicago and the Islanders. So Mrazek versus Sorokin. Early jump for the Islanders. In fact, they're leading in shots 4-0. We're only 3 minutes in. The Islanders have a 3-on-2 that misfires. McLean's denied on a rush. And then at 7:49, Dickinson scores from Bedard and Kurashev. So that's that, all the plays at one end of the ice goes the other way and it goes in the net. The Islanders press to respond. Clutterbuck's denied. Rebounds cleared. The shots are 12-3 for the Islanders with 8 minutes left. Nelson fires one wide on a rush. Things get pushed in a hole by Sorokin. Engvall to Nelson near miss. It's 1-0 Chicago after the first. Second period, early press by the Hawks. The Islanders press at 5 minutes. The Hawks get pinned down for a bit. The Islanders can't take advantage, though. Horvat has a net feed. That's picked off. Holmstrom has a shot that's held. Barzal has a rush that's defended. The shots are 3-1 for the Islanders at 9 minutes. So they're getting opportunities. Again, not a lot at the net. Islanders press at the half. Dickinson's denied from the slot. Islanders press with 6.5 minutes left. The Hawks press to close out the period, and the Islander fans some booing in there because they're down 1-0 to Chicago after the second period. I get it. Third period, early Islanders power play, and at 1:33, Horvat scores his 31st of the season. Barzal and Cizikas with the assists, and then the Islanders press for the lead. We get a power play for New York. That's killed off. Shots are 2 apiece, 7 minutes in. At 9:25, Holmstrom scores to break the tie. Anders Lee with the assist. It's 2-1 for the Islanders. We get a power play for Chicago. That's killed off. Eventually, Chicago pulls the goalie. They had a really hard time setting up during that 6-on-5. The Islanders getting sticks in the lane and just not letting him have a good time of it. Kurashev to Bedard gets blocked with 15.7 seconds left. The Hawks call a timeout. The Islanders hang on. They win this one 2-1. They go to 32, 27, and 15. They're right on the verge of a playoff spot right now, are the Islanders. For the Hawks, 22, 48, and 5 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-8 for Islanders in the first, 12-6 Islanders in the second. Both teams only had 5 shots in the third. Final shots, 29-19 for the Islanders. Power plays, Chicago 0 for 1. The Islanders 1 for 2. The hits, 12-10 Chicago. Mrazek was good, 27 saves on 29 shots. So was Sorokin, 18 saves on 19 shots for Sorokin. And now I need to change boards. So let me just get the mouse over there, and yeah. So now that that's over, now we'll start board number 2. All right, so Ottawa and the Minnesota Wild. So it's Korpisalo versus Fleury, keeping in mind that Minnesota still has playoff hopes here for Ottawa. They come in with a 5-game winning streak, though. So the Wild press at 3 minutes. The Senators, though, had the lone shot 4.5 minutes in. Kaprizov to Boldy, that gets blocked. We get a power play for the Sens. That becomes 12 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. The shots are 4-1 Ottawa with 8 minutes left. At 12:32 on their second shot, Mason Shaw gets a goal. He scores that one from Bogosian and Lucchini. Giroux fires one high on a rush. The Wild press with 5 minutes left. A net feed to Boldy. There's a near miss there. It's 1-0 Minnesota after 1. Second period. Boldy wires one from the slot in the first minute at 49 seconds from Kaprizov and Brodin, making it 2-0 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. Teams exchange rushes. The shots are 3-2 for the Wild at 5 minutes. Senators press at 6.5 minutes. Ottawa ends up drawing a power play, and they score on it. It's Batherson on a nice pass from Tkachuk. He roofs it. Chychrun with the other assist at 7:43, so now it's 2-1. Teams exchange rushes after that. Senators press with 6 minutes left. Shots are 11-4 for Ottawa with 5.5 minutes left. The Wild press in the final minute with 28.9 seconds left. The Wild get a power play, so that rolls over into the third period. Senators finish the kill. No shots on net. Ottawa then draws a power play, and they score on it. So it's a third period lead lost for Minnesota. Not something they're not used to. Chychrun on a cross ice pass buries it. Batherson and Stützle with the assists at 2:42 to tie the game at 2. The Wild press for response. The Sens press at 5.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. Batherson, Tkachuk, near miss there. Shots are 4-3 for the Wild at 8.5 minutes. We get a power play for Minnesota. An early whistle bails out the Sens. Korpisalo did not have that puck. Minnesota puts it in the net, but the whistle had gone. So that power play is killed off. And then on a turnover, Lettieri backhands one in at 13:04. A comedy of errors just basically set that up. Sanderson has a screenshot that's held during the 6-on-5 once the goalie is pulled. It's all punching in the final 10 seconds. The Wild end up finishing the game on the power play. They win this one 3-2. They go to 36-29-9 with the win. With the loss, Ottawa 33-37-4 on the season. Shots on net, 11-5 Ottawa in the first, 11-8 Ottawa in the second, 10-7 Ottawa in the third. Final shots 32-20 for the Sens. Power plays, Ottawa 2 for 3, Minnesota 0 for 4. The hits, 11-9 Ottawa. Korpisalo, 17 saves on 20 shots. Fleury, 30 saves on 32 shots for Fleury. So pretty good game for him. The playoff hopes are slim, but they're still alive. All right, next up, Boston and Nashville. So Nashville's kind of hit a bit of a slide here, haven't they? It's Ullmark versus Saros. Frederick has a rush that's defended. The shots are 2-0 Boston at 3 minutes. Boston really showed today, you want to play a shutdown game, they're right there with you. So Evangelistas denied on a turnover. There's a press by Nashville after that. The Bruins, though, are doing a good job of blocking out Nashville, not giving them routes to the net. We get a power play for the Preds. That's killed off. O'Reilly's absolutely robbed from the doorstep as Ullmark had maybe the best game he's had this season. Bruins aren't giving them much of a path to the net when they have all their defense in place. 2:50 left. Boston gets a power play. That's killed off. It's 0-0 after one. Second period, early power play for Nashville. That's killed off. Puck's cleared out after. Shots are 3-2 for Nashville, 5.5 minutes in. Bruins press at 6.5 minutes. Shots are 7-6 for the Preds with 7 minutes left. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. Yossi ends up hitting a post. 2:38 left. The Bruins have a power play, and that ends with Luke Schenn on a shorthanded rush at the tail end of it. Shattenkirk fires one wide after it's done. Things get brawly with 16.9 seconds left at center because these teams didn't like each other very much. Both of them fighting for playoff spots at this point. It's fun to watch. So it stays 0-0 after two. Third period. O'Reilly's tonight. Ullmark holds, so that's the second time he got robbed in this one. Marchand has a rush chance. That's kicked aside pretty wide open early, and it stays that way considering how defensive these teams were in the first two periods. I was surprised at just how many rush chances there were. Zucker has a shot that deflects out. There's a press by Nashville at 3.5 minutes. Nashville had momentum. Boston got pinned down for a while. The shots are 5-3 for Nashville at 7 minutes. Then there's a blocker save on Frederick as the Bruins are pushing for the lead. Near miss for Jankowski and close, and then his next chance is held by Ullmark. There's some pushing there. 8:27 left. The Preds get a power play. So this is your turning point. Charlie Coyle roofs one in alone. Short-handed too. Marchand with the nice assist at 13:18, and then most importantly, the Bruins then finish the kill, now up 1-0. Things get pushy on a hole by Ullmark again, and then at 17:18, Zacha buries one into an open net. Heinen and Pasternak with the assist. This is where the Let's Go Bruins chant got going. I was actually kind of surprised I didn't hear fans doing the you suck, it's all your fault chant, like the Bruins fans, because there were enough of them there. But at any rate, they pull the goalie. Pasternak ends up hitting the empty net from Zacha and Heinen at 18:35. Your final score in this one's 3-0, so the Tony the Tiger Magnet gets work tonight. Boston goes to 44-17-15 with a huge win. Nashville 44-28-4. Remember, with this win combined with Florida's loss, now Boston's 4 points ahead in first place in their division. So Boston looks like it's going to win the Atlantic. They still have a chance to end up with the President's Trophy, which means if you're a Leafs fan watching this, odds are you're going to get Florida in the first round. From what I've been reading, both teams are going to lose that series, so that should be interesting. This time of year, fans get really overly reactionary, which we'll get to in a moment. So the shots on net are 11-5 Boston in the first, 12-6 Nashville in the second, 16-15 Boston in the third. Final shots are 33-32 for the Bruins. Power plays Boston 0 for 2, Nashville 0 for 4. The hits 22-10 for Nashville. Ullmark saved all 32 shots for the shutout. Again, I think he's been the better of the two goalies in Boston. I'm really glad he stayed. Saros saves 30 out of 32 at the other end. All right. Next game, Anaheim and Calgary. This was actually kind of fun. I actually think this Anaheim Ducks team could be pretty good next year. So it's Dostal versus Markstrom. Really jumped for Calgary. There were no shots on net though 4 minutes in. So the Flames get some zone time, can't get to the net. Ducks press at 5.5 minutes. Greer's denied on a breakaway. 8 minutes in, the shots are 3-0 Calgary. Pressed by the Ducks at the half. They're not getting very many shots. They get some more pressure with 6.5 minutes left. Eventually, one of those shots actually gets through. McTavish scores from Zellweger and Leeson at 14:03. We then get a power play for Calgary. That's killed off. Ducks controlled the second half of that period. They were ahead in shots by a lot at the end of that first period. They look good. They're up 1-0. Second period, McTavish exits. It was a rough collision. He would not return. Mason McTavish has had a rough year injury-wise, and it continues. We get a power play for the Flames, and at 2.5 minutes, they score on it. It's Sharon Govich putting it into the net. Kadri and Uyghur with the assist. The shots are 6-2 Flames at 6 minutes. Flames press at 7 minutes. At 10:25, Kuzmenko gets one into the net. Kadri and Pospisil with the assists. I've seen a lot of people asking, why did the Canucks get rid of Kuzmenko? He's playing well in Calgary. Defense. It's the fact that he doesn't back check. He doesn't play the defensive side. Nobody's ever questioned his offensive acumen. It's the defensive side. It just didn't work. If he was in Vancouver, he'd be a healthy scratch right now. So we get a power play for the Ducks, and then they score on it at 13:36. It's Terry burying one from the side of the net. Carlson and Zellweger with the assists. That makes it 2-2. Shots are 11-5 for the Flames with 4 minutes left. Sharon Govich has a rush chance. That's blocked. Ducks press with 2 minutes left, but yeah, it's 2-2 after 2. Third period. Early press by Anaheim. McTavish again not returned, and then the Ducks score. Fowler wires one on a rush. Zegras and Zellweger with the assists at 1:52. So don't look now. Olin Zellweger is starting to put up points. Terry has a wrister. That's caught and held. The Ducks press at 4.5 minutes. Honestly, the Flames are flat. And then on a 3-on-2, the Ducks score again. Killorn from Terry at 5:09. Now, the Flames would answer. Kuzmenko scores. It goes in off his skate. It's only the second shot on net for Calgary in the third period. Pospisil and Uyghur with the assists at 9:34. Flames then press with 9 minutes left, and at 13:14, the Ducks get the insurance goal. It's Killorn from Lacombe and Terry. So Troy Terry with a big game. Same for Killorn, and that was a rebound from the slot that ends up making it 5-3. Crossbar and out for Zellweger as the Ducks look for more. Zegras has a slot shot. That's held. 52.8 seconds left. The Flames guilty of an icing. They didn't pull the goalie, and that seemed to really throw off. I was watching the Anaheim feed. That really seemed to throw off the Anaheim announcers. I'm actually okay with this. I think that we've gotten to a point now where goalie pulls happen when teams are way too far behind, or clearly they're not going to come back and win. I think there's nothing wrong with leaving the goalie in the net and being like, yeah, we lost this, and accepting it. So 5-3 is your final for the Ducks. They go to 25-47-4 with the win. With the loss, the Flames drop back below NHL 500, 34-35-5 on the year. Shots on net, 13-6 Anaheim in the first, 12-5 Calgary in the second, 11-5 Anaheim in the third, meaning depending on which end of the ice you were at, you saw all the shots or almost none of the shots. Final shots are 29-23 for Anaheim. Power plays, the Ducks scored on the only one they had. The Flames were 1 for 2 on theirs. Hits 28-17 Calgary. Dostal 20 saves on 23 shots. Markstrom 24 saves on 29 shots. All right, in the last game of the night, I've seen a lot of Canuck fans now go, oh, they're out the first round. They're going to get swept. This team's garbage. This team's terrible. Yada, yada, yada. We need to keep like a database of all these fans so that in the event that come playoff time, because the playoffs are a different beast than the regular season, if the Canucks have a matchup that works for them and they come out of the first round, these people need to be told, hey, no, you said they were done. You said they were done. I've never said that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it here. Did they play well tonight? No. But again, we're weeks away from the start of the playoffs. DeSmith, I think, has been overplayed at this point. Understandable. You don't want Silovs going into the net tonight in Vegas. They have the game tomorrow night in Arizona, so you want to make sure Silovs is fresh for that. So it's DeSmith versus Thompson. The Canucks press are kept to the outside, and at 1:36, Mantha buries a loose puck. It's just DeSmith didn't have it and tried to keep it and ends up throwing it to Mantha by accident. It happens. Shots are 4-0 Vegas 2 minutes in. There's a press by Vegas at 4 minutes. Eventually, they score again. It's Marchessault from Barbashev and McNabb at 6:23. Vegas presses for another. But then at 9:20, Thompson had trouble with a rebound, and Höglander puts it in. So an unassisted goal there makes it 2-1 for Vegas. However, at 9 minutes and 40 seconds, Eichel scores from Barbashev and Marchessault. And this was just the Canucks not being ready for the shift after getting a goal. And it's not the only time this would happen in the game. The D coverage wasn't there. It was nothing. And Vegas is very good at counterattacks, so you have to be ready for that. Barbashev has a slot shot that's blocked. We get a power play for Vegas, and they score on it. Hanifin, on what was only their 8th shot to that point, gets their 4th goal. Eichel and Marchessault with the assists at 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Then we have a 4-minute Canucks power play. Everything gets killed off there. There's some pushing that goes on with 10 seconds left. Zadorov gets a 5-minute major for a boarding call. So after the first period, it's 4-1 for Vegas. Canuck fans very upset because referee this, referee that. And meanwhile, just for me personally, I'm thinking, but they had a double minor. They had a 4-minute power play. They didn't score on. So I'm not saying that the 5-minute major was necessarily the right call. We'll see if the NHL says anything after the game. But at any rate, we go to the second period, and 1:45 in on what was their third shot at the time. Vegas does score on that major power play. Carlson from Pietrangelo and Mantha. But Vancouver did a good job from there. We then ended up with 37 seconds of 4-on-4, and then it's Canucks power play, and they score on theirs. It's Quinn Hughes from Garland and Miller at 6:13. Then the Canucks press for another. Garland to Joshua gets picked off. Podkolzin has a net drive that save. The shots are 8 apiece with 9 minutes left. Canucks press are kept to the outside with 1:52 left. Vegas gets a power play, so Vegas kills the rest of that to start the third. I thought the Canucks had a good third period, and I know that momentum doesn't carry from one game into the next, but I thought they played relatively well in the third. That first period was a disaster. The rest of the game I thought was more indicative of what the Canucks can do. So, Suter couldn't bury one. Puck's cleared out at 1:39. Hughes, it's a wrister pass to screen. Podkolzin with the assist, so that's the second of the season. And then at 2:03, again, it's a 2-on-1 rush. It's the next shift right after a goal. And this is something that I would have expected from the Canucks like 4 years ago. They can't be doing this. So this is one of those things that Tocchet can work with them on. It doesn't mean they're going to do this in the playoffs. So Howden gets this one from Kolesar and Raw. He tips that one in on a 2-on-1 rush. Shots are 3-1 for the Canucks at 3 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The Canucks would press halfway through the period. Vegas presses with 5 minutes left. Kolesar has a rush chance that's saved, but there was never any doubt in this one. Vegas wins 6-3. They go to 42-25-8 on the season. Vancouver 46-21-8 with the loss. Shots on net, 9 apiece in the first, 13-9 Vegas in the second, 12-7 Vancouver in the third. They actually outshoot Vegas 30-29. Power plays, 1 for 3 for Vancouver, 2 for 4 for Vegas. Hits, 25-24 Vancouver. DeSmith saved 23 out of 29. I'm not saying he had a great game, but again, I think he's been overplayed. Thompson saved 27 out of 30 at the other end. So I know there's a lot of people reacting to this. Well, this team's terrible, and this is awful, and this is garbage, but it's one game out of 82, and you never know what's going to happen when the playoffs roll around. So we'll see what happens, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.